Okay, good to go.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. on January 13th. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Directors. I'd like to announce the meeting is being recorded. Let's do roll call.
Dr. Brandt?
Here.
Dr. Palat?
Here.
Dr. Hobart?
Here.
Dr. Sipos?
Here.
Dr. Deschler?
Here.
Dr. Carmine?
Here.
And Director Topliff will be joining us shortly. Before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge the Chumash people who are the traditional custodians of this land. We pay our respects to the Chumash elders, past, present, and future, who call this place Anascoyo, the land that Isla Vista sits upon, their home. We are proud to continue their tradition of coming together and growing as a community. We thank the Chumash community for their stewardship and support, and we look forward to strengthening our ties as we continue our relationship of mutual respect and understanding. With that, we're going to move to the consent agenda. Do any directors have items that they would like to pull?
We're happy to answer any questions on the policies.
Okay, seeing none, is there any public comment on any consent agenda items? Not seeing any. I will take the point of privilege to just say thank you to staff for how you've been formatting these, where it includes the redlined version of the policies. I found that very helpful in trying to follow exactly what changes were made.
Thank you, Sid.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I just want to make a, can I make a comment? I just want to thank Sydney and Jonathan for all the work that you did into putting together these policies. So I sit on the policy committee. Literally, we did nothing. Because the staff had done, no, that's not true.
We sit in chat.
We did. We did give some contributions, but I just want to acknowledge that the work you did in putting these together, really, really thorough, and I'm working with our legal counsel, and so thank you for all the work.
All right, thank you, policy. With that, I will entertain a motion.
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, motion made by Sipos. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Palat. Let's do a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0 with one abstention / just arriving. So we're going to count you as an abstention.
Okay.
Okay. With that, we'll move to public comment period. This is the time for any member of the public to speak on any matter that is not on tonight's agenda. The board will not take action on any item not on the agenda except as provided for by law. Is there any general public comment? Okay, I'll start with Marty and then go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been just trying to thinking about making sure that you guys are aware of what's going on in New York City. You know about the new mayor, of course, but I was talking a bit more about the parking and the car situation, where they're like limiting the amount of cars or charging people to bring their cars into the city, and they just announced like over this past week how great it's working. Turned the city into an amazing, just incredible. I mean, I grew up there, so I'm not prejudiced. But and I remember being in San Francisco when they cut out they stopped all the cars from coming into the city. It was like 15 years ago or so. And it was so wonderful. I was there and it was so wonderful. They're like, no cars, some big taxis. But and I was just wondering, be aware of that, because maybe we could do something similar. Am I making sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
It's something to look at, because they really got it organized and how they're doing it. What's the word?
Congestion pricing.
Huh?
Congestion pricing.
Congestion
And
pricing.
it is in our parking action plan, long-term phase 3 is something to look at.
Is that what we have?
It's in the recommendations as a future item to look at
Oh, nice.
for IB.
That's it.
Excellent. Thank you for going with. Okay, Henry, go ahead.
Well, first of all, good to see you again. It's been a very busy day for a few of us here. And I just want to say, first of all, I want to thank everyone who showed up. I don't care if you were for the ordinance or against the ordinance. I want to thank everyone who showed up. That's a great exercise in democracy. With that said, the decision of 5-0 to pass the ordinance, I don't look at it as a victory for one side and a loss for the other. I look at it as what I call civic evolution. What does that mean? Well, we've evolved to learn from the facts presented and the realities of what Deltopia has brought to the community. The push for having the private event, I don't want to call it that, but the alternative event, was a fantastic addition to that. And I think it definitely made a big difference. In fact, I can tell you with Lavagnino, Supervisor Lavagnino, he was seriously on the fence about it until it got made apparent that that permitting process would be in place to allow for that festival to happen. So I think it all hinged on that. And I want to thank you guys for, definitely pushing for that. Because like I said, there is no winning or losing on this. There's no time for gloating or crying on this. This is a situation. I'm a realist. The reality is we have to move forward and make this work. So whatever help is needed on my end of things, please feel free to ask. Gathering information or data, intel, whatever you need, let me know. And like I said, it was a pleasure to work with everyone today. Like I said, I don't care what side of the aisle anybody stood on the issue. We were all working together for something. And that's how democracy works. So keep that in mind. I think it's pretty much a settled deal. But doesn't mean that we can't add things to it to make it a better deal. So let's all work together on that. Bring everyone together to the table and let's discuss. That's basically it.
Thank you very much for your comments. And I think that once we get through organizational session, I might just ask since we've got everyone here for staff report or a GM report update just on future activities as it relates to that. So just
Actually, I have to take off a little early. Stuff at home, like 5 cats. But because I'm a cat dad. But yeah, just want to make that.
excellent. Thank you very much.
No, thank you guys. Thank everybody that was there today. It was a good exercise. Like I said, civic evolution. That's what I call it.
Write that down. Civic evolution. Okay. Is there any other public comment on general public comment? Okay. Not seeing any. We'll move to organizational session. So this is something that we do once a year. I'm specifically speaking to those on the board that are new. Some of you have been through this on a number of occasions. We basically have 3 items that include electing board leadership, assigning board committee assignments. At this point, I believe that most committee assignments are filled, so we'll go through and in the ones that are filled, just kind of do a temperature check on, do you want to keep it? If you have a conflict, if you have a conflict, then we'll note that, and then we'll find someone else for it, and then approving the board meeting calendar. So we'll start though with 4.1, board president and vice president selection. And I'll start by saying that it's been an absolute honor to have been your president during the 2025 calendar year. We've just really, I think, stepped it up this last year in terms of just the issues we were tackling. We dove headfirst into parking compliance. We've navigated the spring festival and all of the dynamics around that, and advancing transportation and infrastructure improvements with some of our advice to the county, and supporting community grocery in Isla Vista. This was my 5th term as president of the board, not consecutive, but I really have enjoyed every moment of it. And that goes for the previous terms I've served as well. And moving forward, due to just my own professional commitments and time, I decided that now is the right time to pass the torch to new board leadership. That doesn't mean that I'm going anywhere. I'm still here, and I want to be very supportive of whoever it is that we decide to put in place as our board leadership, and want to make myself available to continue sitting in on meetings, to continue being a sounding board, to talk with leadership and with staff about issues. But I'm really confident that this is the right move for IVCSD, because I think that it's really important that we grow the leadership pipeline in our community this year, since it has tested us so much. I think has been such a fertile training ground for building more leadership. And I think this year, as more sticky issues continue to come up, it'll just continue to have that happen. So, so I put that out there and want to ask my colleagues if there's any interest in board leadership in either president or vice president.
Happy to throw my hat in the ring.
Okay, awesome.
That's Henry laughs, thank you.
I think that since I might not be able to serve out my full term this year, I should probably also pass the torch, like Spencer said, and I don't think I will take up a board leadership position.
Got it. Okay.
But I would endorse Director Carmichael for board president. I think that she performed very well in the policy committees, and I think like very meticulous. I mean, she was taking crazy notes. I was just there to talk. But she not only was she like taking very meticulous notes, but she was asking very insightful questions. I think also like as a grad student, like that demonstrates your organizational prowess.
One would hope.
Yeah, and I think that like you've already had like work experience in and around county issues. I think that you would be a great fit for board president. I would be happy to vote for you.
Thank you. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Director Fly. And I'll ask you any other interest in board leadership, either president or vice president.
I could be president, vice president.
Okay, excellent. So it sounds like we've got one for each. I'll do one more call. Any other takers? I feel like this is an excellent duo to take us into the year 2026. I agree with a lot of what you said, Edward. Catherine, I think that you have the policy background and experience and the energy to be able to do this really well, the time to put to it. I think that you will be an amazing president. I think that you are definitely someone that will work really well with Kylan as you continue to develop your leadership. We have an item that you and I brought on the agenda later tonight. Like you are dialed in and engaged in the conversations that are being had. I think that this will be a really excellent pair, and I'm very happy to support it. Any other comments from the board?
I'll make a comment. I just want to thank you for your leadership over this past year, both of you, actually. But Spencer, you really just done such a great job at framing messages, talking to different elected officials, policy leaders, and just really creating a solid presence and representing the board in such a positive way. And I just appreciate your leadership in the community. I appreciate just your really steadfast, positive, thorough leadership skills. I'm just proud of you, like a mom. And Edward, it's been lovely to see you grow into this role, and I'm sorry to know that you wouldn't be able to go to the next step, because I definitely think that you have the skill set and the abilities and the way you think and the way you articulate. I think you would have done a great job, but maybe just not this time, but maybe for another role you'll find that time is right for your leadership. So anyways, just wanted to thank you, Spencer. You're just an amazing person, and I just really appreciate it being on the board. Yeah.
I'd also like to make a comment. I too would like to thank you for your leadership. I think that also like when I started on the board, like I just threw my hat in the ring for vice president, not knowing really what it would entail or how that would work. And you did an excellent job like mentoring me through that process. And I think as a whole, like this year, you're always like so on top of all the different issues facing us. You know more, like you do all the outside research necessary to fully understand them. You're very articulate. And also, I think one of the things that I admire most is your ability to handle different opposing opinions in meetings. I think you do a great job of balancing different board opinions, but also different opinions in the public, and like taking a very non-biased role, taking the role of the mediator, which I think is the role the president should be doing. So I'd also like to thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. And I just want to say to you, especially, I didn't get to see it up close because the whole point of this is that I wasn't here, but the 2 times that I was not here and you got to fill in as the chair, you know, running the meeting, doing it by Robert's Rules of Order, understanding the procedure, From what I can tell online, you did a very excellent job.
Thank you.
And what I also was reminded is that it's way more fun to be in person than it is to be online, which is a special shout out to Annabelle for taking all of these meetings at 2 a.m. and trying to navigate participating while you're only on the screen and no one ever sees that your hand is raised. It is what it is. It's just, that's how it goes. But I really appreciate the both of you in that aspect.
I have something more to say.
Yeah.
I'm very late. I think, Catherine and Kylan, K squared. I think you guys will be amazing. Your energy, I think will be just particularly just really super. Kylan, I'm always really impressed with you, how you're able to see an issue from different perspectives. You make really very pointed comments, and you don't speak a lot, but when you do, it's like everyone stops to listen, and I just appreciate kind of your sage wisdom in a lot of how you approach some of our difficult issues. And Catherine, you have so much energy and commitment and passion and experience that I just think you're going to do fabulous in this role. So
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not much a sentimental person, but I would like to give my general thanks to everybody. And also I'd like to give my thanks to Jonathan for being an exceptional general manager. As someone who now sits on a board and someone who had been a staffer in the past, you definitely are doing a better job than I ever did. But you give me a lot of confidence in our ability to know things, because I'm like, you know what, it's okay, because Jonathan's going to know, Jonathan's going to have it handled. So I appreciate that your quality of work is so high, and for all of the board, that I just never have to worry about things. Not that I never worry about things, but the things that you can control, I never have to worry about them, which is a true blessing, I know. So I want to thank you guys for that.
Can't wait to work with you for the year.
It'll be fun. You'll get tired of my energy.
You need the energy. You need it. It's so representative of our community. The last thing that I want to say before I entertain a motion is that when I was first elected to the board of directors and we first took oath of office in 2017, our board was not reflective of the community's demographics of a whole. We had 6 men and 1 woman on our board of directors. And today we are posed to vote on a motion to elect the first woman president and second vice president of IVCSD's history, the first full slate too. And that is just really, really exciting to me, and just brings me so much joy, so much hope for our community at a time where things feel really bleak sometimes, frankly, when we look at what leadership looks like throughout the United States and in some cases at other levels of local government in California. So I'm overjoyed with this outcome, and I will take the chair's project to make the motion to appoint Catherine Carmichael as president and Kylan Hobart as vice president.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any public comment on the motion? Go ahead, Henry.
First of all, Spencer. No, that's a good sign. That's not a bad sign. You have been one of the faces of the CSD that always has been out in the forefront, and I really appreciate everything you've done, whether it worked or didn't. You made it your aura. Every director on here has done a fantastic job. It's always great to see you at meetings, and enjoy your position as president. It's time to pass it on, and you're doing that very graciously. Catherine, you need to bring your bike by so I can tune it up for you.
Thank you.
Get your meetings faster. And you know, you're gonna be great. You've got great people to learn from. You got great tutelage, mentorship here. And you're gonna see people like me from the community show up to meetings, and once in a while we'll rant, like I do a lot. But you'll appreciate it, because it'll, you know, with the people you have surrounding you on this board, you're gonna come out great. And it's great to see 2 very dynamic women stepping up to take a role of responsibility. I was the only child raised by a single mother. And we were immigrants to this country, from Cuba. And my mom raised me. And everything that I am is because of my mom. And, you know, I look at this decision for you to be president, you to be vice president. I think it's a great decision. And best of luck to everybody. Whatever you need from me as a member of the community, please feel free. If you got to email me, text me, whatever, you can do that. I'm accessible. I'm always around. So, best of luck. And I'm gonna miss you as president, but you say you're just gonna stick around.
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, I'm making sure. I want that on the record. So, yeah.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, seeing no further public comments, we'll go to a voice vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Madam President. And Madam Vice President. Very good brainstorm. Okay. I gotta get out of this chair now.
Do I?
You gotta-
The
rest of the meeting.
It's a specific chair.
It's a specific chair.
Special chair. There's something under it. There's like a special button under the chair. You can click.
No, I also thought you just got here early.
I get to sit next to you now. All right, good deal.
I know, and I spread out so much always. My nickname as a child. They were like, you're like a snake, you spread everywhere. Thank you. All right, this is the late. That's Spencer sandwich. Okay. The part where I go, I'm not great at Robert's Rules of Orders because our own Congress does not use Robert's Rules of Order, and I weirdly know that one better. All righty. All right, we can move along. Jonathan, stop me if I'm doing anything wrong.
Got it.
We are moving along to agenda item 4.2, board committee selection. All righty. So let me start out. So does anyone have any like issues for the board, for the committees are currently on?
I can put it on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. So you want me to go over the committees?
Yeah.
So we have two kinds of committees, and then we have standing committees, which are regular meetings that happen like with the Brown Act. We have ad hoc committees, which are one-offs on specific topics that, you know, some of them have expired and we might not need them anymore. And then we have groups that we send a representative to. So that's like another appointment. And then the final one is similar, which is the liaisons, similar to the groups, but they're more one person. So we have lots of different roles for board members to play at IVCSD. So you can see there's just so many. But I'll go over each one just for prudence, and a lot of it has changed recently. So we have our policy committee that meets about once a quarter, maybe a little more as needed. And yeah, you saw the work product policy committee today. They look at different, you know, it's not always HR policies. It can be other things too, but last quarter was HR based. There's the finance committee, which is going to be very busy the next 6 months since our budget process is coming back. It's always this time of year. So there'll be a good amount of work from now through August on the finance committee. We have a legislative committee, which hasn't taken on a lot of work in recent years, but I know we have talked recently about a potential legislative ask in conjunction with the governance study we're doing. So that might have some outcomes later this year to do. Our parking committee is no longer necessary because the board of directors is going to be the parking commission. So that's going away. We don't need it. So those are the standing committees. So these are the ones that have like a regular time commitment. I'd say the policy committee is the most commitment. The finance committee is a little less just because it's not the whole year. And the legislative committee is definitely the least. So that's those. You want me to just do all of them at once, or you want to do standing and then ad hoc and then?
Let's just do it all at once.
Okay, cool. Some of the ad hoc committees. So we had an ad hoc committee on library services, and there just wasn't any activity in the last year. So we can reform that committee because there are going to be maybe potential decisions this year. So it's like starting fresh on this one. And Maya's been working with the city of Goleta on some of that, but we definitely want to bring in board members into those discussions with the city of Goleta. Next is we have the property negotiations committee, which again, at our last board meeting, we did have a property negotiation, so we definitely will have work for this group to do. And you'll be meeting with the people who own the property that we're negotiating with, and with our own consultants and our staff to figure out deals to bring to the board to or taking forward our discussions and closed sessions to the negotiations. We don't need our Ivy Food Co-op ad hoc committee anymore. That was to start up the membership purchase. And so, yeah, ad hoc committees, you don't want to have them exist for too long. They are supposed to be like time bound. So this one did accomplish its goals. Our outreach committee, I think this is one we didn't get to really take off the ground last year. So it'd be good to reform this one if that's still the board's preference to do this outreach work. And we do have this, our staff did do all the prep work for this committee to do what it intended to do. So, which is like organize where the board should be going to different events and such. So this is one where we can start it up again, or start it for the first time this year. Then we also at the last board meeting discussed having a committee, an ad hoc committee to work with staff to help refine how IVCN works. So this one will be definitely a time limited one, maybe a month or two, to work with us to figure out a plan for IVCN for this year. Next is our IVRPD liaison. So we send one board member to attend the IVRPD meetings. They're about once a month. And so you can do Zoom or in person for that. And it does count as a day of service to attend that meeting. Next is the IV Safe liaison. So we're able to appoint 2 board members to be liaisons to the IV Safe meetings, which are, there's 4 meetings per year. They're 2 hours each. So it's an 8-hour commitment plus any work outside of it. And those, are the meetings with all the community members and public safety agencies and other governments as we coordinate safety in IV. IV Community Network, yeah, you could make sure to appoint people to attend them. It's a public event, so technically everybody can come to IVCN. It's a public town hall kind of thing, but you could have people designated to make sure that board members are represented there regularly. We don't have the dates yet for the County Elected Leaders Forum on Homelessness, but we do get one person to attend, and I'll attend as well. For some reason, they've always been on a day off for me the last 2 or 3, but staff and a board member can attend those, so someone can be and that's it's just on Friday mornings from 9 to 12 on Zoom, so not too hard. And yeah, elected officials from all over the county meet and talk about homeless issues, and it's staffed by the county housing department. Next is the Goleta Valley Library Advisory Board. They don't meet that often. A lot of them get canceled, these meetings, but it is good to have a representative on there, and it's probably good to have somebody who's on the library ad hoc committee so that they can work it from both ends. And then finally, we do have a slot that is very appreciated by AS Senate on their meeting to go give an update on IVCSD, and so we do need somebody appointed to do that. It defaults to the president, but I think you can appoint anybody you want. There you go.
All right, thank you. Do we have anyone who wants to claim a committee, switch out of one, preferences?
Do you maybe want to go down the list?
Yeah, I can go
and
down.
just say, have for everyone who's on it, keep it or give it up if you've got a conflict?
All right,
Here's
policy.
I enjoyed policy committee. I would be happy to stay on it.
Same as well. Director Deshler?
I think I add value to that.
Yes,
You
you
do.
do. Yeah.
You do.
You do. You offer a good perspective of someone who's been employed longer than probably the both of us have been alive. So we bring value to that. Alrighty. Any other directors want to jump on that? All right, let's keep it as is. Finance.
I would be happy to keep it, but if anyone else is interested in jumping on this, I feel this is a really important committee in terms of helping myself understand how we operate from a high level when it comes to where our funding goes.
Be happy to switch out with you on finance, although I don't know what committee I'd give you because I like all of my committees. But,
It doesn't have to be a quid pro quo, but
okay. Just so that I can understand finances a little bit better. Any other?
And I'm happy to stay on the committee.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would be happy to stay on it too.
Sounds good.
So we switching
Switch-
out.
Are we happy with
We're
all?
talking about.
Okay,
how
cool.
we are.
All right. So that's happiness out of that end. That's
yeah,
good.
I heard Director Dessler likes finance.
You know, every year I make the same comment. I say, thank you, no,
Yeah.
thank you, next.
Thank you, next.
Thank you.
All right, Ari. Ledge committee. Are we happy that we're on ledge?
I'm quite.
I mean,
Yeah, we have not met, I
Good.
think, ever, but I think that Jonathan is right. There could be a legislative ask that comes out of the governance option study.
I'm excited at the prospect of being on the legislative.
Cool, yeah, let's keep. Okay,
I'll say if somebody wants to be on it, I'm happy to be off it,
okay.
but I'm also happy to stay on it, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the following the next resolution after the resolution on the offshore leases, is that the sort of stuff that would fall under legislative committee?
You could have taken it to the legislative committee
'Cause-
first if it.
Because if it is, I would encourage Director Hobart to take a spot on that if she would like to. Yeah.
I mean, sure.
I'll step off then. If that's okay.
Everybody has a committee.
Yes,
Mhm.
okay. Parking is everyone. Ad hoc.
Library.
Yes, so as an academic, I just like libraries point blank. Just like as an institution, I love the library, so I'd be happy to be on the library ad hoc committee, which would then connect to the library rep, but I'm seeing that they meet at 6 p.m. Is it okay?
Yeah, every other month. So there's only 6 meetings per year max, and they cancel half. So there's maybe 3 meetings a year on the Monday, 6 p.m.
Well, unless anyone wants library, I'm happy to take library.
Oh, yeah.
There's also an empty spot on it too. so-
Cool,
Yeah.
so that would be who else wants to join me on library committee?
I'm happy to keep library ad hoc, and I would be interested in the Goleta Valley Library. I think there definitely should be overlap between the library ad hoc members of the Goleta Valley Library. See,
Okay.
If anyone is super passionate about libraries and would like to take my spot, feel free to tell me. Otherwise, I'd be happy to stay on it, although I don't know if we ever met last year, did we?
There was nothing to meet about, but there's gonna be.
There's
this
gonna be
year
meetings this
Changes
year, yeah.
coming with the service levels,
Yeah.
and so we do need to negotiate.
Perfect. I spend every day in a library. It's great. Library.
yeah, and I think it's good that there is a undergrad student,
Mhm.
just because I know I felt that a lot of the challenges we've dealt with in the past have been just about how the Goleta Valley Library hasn't necessarily had a lot of offerings for undergrad students. And so having that perspective is I feel really valuable.
Every book I read is from a library, so.
Yeah.
The sign.
All right, library ad hoc, property negotiation ad hoc.
Be negotiating property this year.
I would kind of be interested in that.
Yeah.
I'm not that passionate, but I kind of want to explore more, so.
There is-
anyone that isn't.
There's one vacancy on it. So add you on. Yeah. Did you want to switch?
No. I mean, no, yeah, never mind. Never mind.
Okay. Are we?
And I'm happy
We're
to stay.
Oh, good, happy to keep.
Perfect. Food co-op,
We don't need this one.
We
This
don't
one's
need
the one
this.
that's going away now, yeah.
yes. All right, the outreach ad hoc.
Yeah, this one didn't meet yet, but the work that was meant for the committee to work on is ready
Okay.
for the Or
I think we did, I feel like we met one time, or maybe we just had a conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe us.
but we have all the things like the list of events, the list of groups and, key community leaders so that the committee can work on developing relationships for the board.
I thought that I was on that committee.
I thought you were too, but
Wasn't I the one that brought
you
up the
initiated
idea?
it.
Yeah.
Maybe we just missed you, you're on.
So
there.
you should definitely be on that
I
one. Wait,
There we go.
Directors Brant and Seacrest, how are we feeling about?
I would be happy to keep it, but also it relates somewhat, I think, to a couple of the other liaison roles that are further down there. Like, I think a lot of the discussion that we had in either our meeting or conversation, whatever it was about associate students liaisonship.
Mhm.
And so if it's helpful to tie those two together.
I think this committee is gonna mainly like help the board organize itself on where to go and what to do. I guess they could synergize, but it is supposed to be like, here's the board. We recommend the board goes to these events this week or something like that.
It's interesting because that's not really what it says here, so it might be helpful to.
Oh, that's how I read. I don't know.
Is
That's
that
what
how you
yeah.
see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is just a summary. We didn't.
Oh, this isn't like on our on the website?
No, we just discussed it at a meeting.
So I mean, we could link it to AS, although I don't know what you were thinking about the creation of this committee, but it might be nice to prioritize non-student residents. Or non-UCSD, like also FBCC, because if we're having outreach specifically with AS, are we overrepresenting UCSD undergrads in our outreach?
Like, should we have a separate committee for?
No, not like a separate committee, but an argument against linking the two, so that they kind of live separately. No, it's just.
Wait, what are the two things we were talking about?
Oh, Director Brandt brought up maybe linking the outreach ad hoc with the UCSD Associate Students liaison.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just like the library one.
Oh, like not having a
Yeah.
student be the liaison, you mean?
No, just like, do we want to link them conceptually? They're linked.
Like as in appoint one of the people on the outreach committee to serve as the AS
I
liaison.
guess, or like.
Yeah, I
Director
mean,
Brandt, what did you mean?
Well, what I meant, I guess, in my mind, maybe I just imagined this, but I thought a big part of the conversation that we had when we did meet as outreach committee, or maybe it was just me and Director Sipos and Director Hobart talking, but like, was what is our strategy for engaging with different groups within associate students? And the Senate was one of them because we've got that standing item. I did provide a quarterly report to the Associated Students Senate last quarter. And traditionally, the person who has done that has been the board president. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but I do think that there is value in the Senate getting to hear from the chair of the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in being the AS liaison.
Can you do those Wednesdays at 6:30?
Yeah.
And you should.
Not ideal time for me.
Perfect.
All right, so outreach, sorry for the confusion. We're all good. Directors Francie and Hobart. Perfect. All right, IVCN ad hoc.
Yeah, so this is the one to help us design a new format and such for IVCN to work with staff to do it.
Currently vacant.
It'll be a quick job, I think, or quicker than not a lot of regular work.
I'm interested in this, and I want to volunteer Director Deschler just because I know that he's
Serious?
You had a lot of ideas. You had a lot of ideas.
Yeah, you have a lot of
well, the
ideas.
reason why is because you and I have had a number of conversations about this, and I thought that you had some very good ideas.
I do.
And it sounds like this is a time-limited committee.
Okay. It is time.
It is.
All right, sign me up. Any opportunity to work closer with Spencer.
Oh, and also just whoever wrote that on the doc, I think that it's actually meant to be the one that's further up the page.
It was
Okay.
So there's one more.
Yeah, if no one else wants it, I could do it, but if somebody else wants it.
I think you might be our only
Okay,
taker.
all right.
All right.
Okay, next is IVRBD lead.
Okay. Director Toplitt, are you happy maintaining?
I'm willing to continue. I felt like when I started this, that I had a good demographic to be effective with them. And then in the last year, I don't know that I really feel that I have been that effective. And maybe it's because I'm not around as much as you all who live in Isla Vista. But I feel like it's a really important relationship, but we still haven't really become good partners. And so maybe somebody else should do it. I mean, I will if you want me to, but I just don't know that I've accomplished what I hoped to.
I think that it's been a huge benefit of having someone at those meetings and just having someone there for starters to be able to be a friendly face and report back on what's going on. I view as super helpful. And I want you to know I would never hold you to things not being perfect in regards to any of our
Well, of course, we
relationships.
don't hold each other in those ways ever. It wouldn't be realistic.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to do it, or I'm also willing to have somebody else.
Do you have any passionate park people? Yeah, I do love alliteration, sorry. I do love the parks, but I don't want to sign up for everything as I am.
Yeah, well,
liable
I'm
be
happy
liable.
to keep it up, and then, we can see how it goes.
Good, sounds good. Alrighty, IVC. There's Brent.
I have a very love-hate relationship with Tyler Society.
Okay.
I find a lot of the conversations that we have there incredibly frustrating, including the genesis of what the board of supervisors dealt with today. That said, it's for that reason that I would be happy to continue, because I think that it does take some time to be effective in this context, and a lot of that is building relationships. And so I'd be happy to continue. And then I know that we kind of have had a practice where we have had either alternates or designees. So we've done basically the appointment of the members when this item comes to the board to set the agenda on a quarterly basis, which I do feel was helpful, just in the sense that sometimes the timing was not ideal for everybody. And so we were always able to find someone to step in so that it wasn't just me there, that there was always someone else there too.
The timing on that meeting is 12 or 12:30?
Lunch is at 12.
12, it starts at 12. Well, because I remember there's like a lunch that starts and then the meeting starts.
Yeah, 12:30, 12 to 12:30 is lunch.
Okay.
Sometimes we start early.
I could definitely commit to the February and the April meetings. Not as sure about the August and October ones.
I would be interested in replacing Edward, but I feel like you should serve out your tenure.
Okay, wait, so do you mean like for the August and the
Yeah,
October ones?
like you
Okay.
should do these next 2 quarters.
Okay, and then you do the August and
Yeah.
October. Okay, that sounds good.
But like contingent on like your plans.
So, can we put you in as an alternate?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. Perfect. And then does anyone want to take Director Brandt's position?
I'm happy to keep it.
Okay. I think you've done a good job relationship building, so Although it may bring you
It's not
frustration, you do a
easy.
good job.
It's not easy with this crowd.
Righty. Homelessness forum liaison. I have to take myself off of this one because I teach Friday mornings.
Wait, did we skip the community network one?
Yes, I did.
No,
IVCN. Yes, I did. Thank you.
so this is to go to the IVCN meetings, which we don't have yet. We're gonna design them.
Probably should be people on the committee, or I guess it maybe doesn't matter.
Because the committee will end
Yeah, that's true.
in order to create.
Yeah, I think the way that I have viewed IVCN traditionally is just that anyone from the board that's available can show up. And I know I tried to attend all of them in the years that I was president. And if that wasn't the case, I think we almost always have at least one board member there.
Yeah, it is an open public event. Right?
Okay, so it
Anyone
can be
can attend.
anyone.
Yeah.
Any interest in?
We can do this too when we get the dates.
Okay, that works
Maybe
better. We
we
don't
can
know
wait till
scheduling
we
yet.
have the new plan. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Perfect. Now we can get to our homelessness forum.
I can just say a couple words about what this is because I have attended this a number of times in the past. This is largely an informational meeting about updates to the county's strategy when it comes to addressing shelter for our unhoused neighbors and other issues related to homelessness, including various cleanup efforts. They talk a lot about local funding streams. So this is definitely something, if you're interested in homelessness and housing policy, that I think is a good opportunity. The meetings usually last, I believe, about an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour. And every so often the staff will bring various like protocols. Like, for example, there was the encampment resolution protocol that the county had, which basically was a procedure for, how they were going to remove encampments, how were they going to notice abandoned property, how are they going to be offering services and outreach to people. And I think that there was opportunity to provide feedback on that during this meeting. So that's a little overview on what it is.
Also a good way to know kind of about the county and meet other elected.
I've been to one meeting and I thought that it was helpful and it seemed like our presence there was important. So
I won't be able to do the April or June, like potentially in the future if we wanna, I don't know how that works.
Well, we don't have the
We
new
don't have
dates
the dates.
actually.
Oh,
They
yeah,
haven't
these are
sent
old
them
dates.
to us.
Yeah.
We'll get them. But it is on Fridays, 9 to 12 for sure.
Yeah, and I think usually it's only an hour or hour and a half. It's not 3 hours.
But it's very bureaucratic.
Yeah, and staff will be there too.
It
We get
seems
invited as
longer.
well.
Yeah. I know for winter quarter for a fact, I can't, like, teach at this time, but spring quarter schedule dependent. I'd be happy to be the rep for this, but we'd still need a winter quarter. And then also that's a schedule dependent. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say unfortunately, I was gonna say the opposite of what you just said, actually the same thing. I can't do winter quarter.
Okay.
It does sound very interesting and I would love to do it if I could.
And I could probably share it with you.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
could do some and then
Yeah,
have
you
you
could
as
definitely
alternate.
share.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And then if any scheduling things arise, we can pull from other board members. Okay. Library, I think I already said I wanted that one. And I don't think anyone felt passionate about the library other than me.
I was
I
gonna
thought Spencer wanted.
Oh,
throw
yes.
out there that I would be interested in it if you'd be willing. I served on or
Yes.
attended all of the Carpinteria Library Advisory Board meetings and really got to see how I think an advisory body like this can help be effective in working with the library director. And I know that Galita always envied what Carpinteria had going on with that. So I would be happy to take that.
Yeah, then let's do that. Perfect. And then the associated students, we did want to play this one. Yeah,
That's good.
it's not the hill I'm gonna die on though, if anyone else wants to die on this hill specifically.
That's a big commitment every week, huh?
It's a very good time for me and I'm there anyways.
Yeah, and I will just throw out, I
Thanks.
definitely did not do this each week. My goal was to do it once a quarter and I achieved that goal last quarter. At the minimum, and then as necessary when other big things come up, I think that it's good for us to go and utilize that spot. They have a standing item on their agenda that we can sort of cut the line in public forum.
Perfect, yeah. No, I'm literally in the building right next door at that time anyway, so it works out great.
Good.
Okay. USEN. Yeah, are they in the USEN stuff?
The
Yeah, yeah.
Flying J room, I believe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alrighty, we're all happy on agendas. Move on.
Oh, we just
need
need
a
a
motion.
one motion to ratify all the committee appointments and liaison appointments.
I'll move to ratify the committee appointments that we just discussed.
Second.
Perfect. Can we do a voice vote on that for ratify? Alrighty, all in favor?
I
All opposed? Abstentions? Alrighty, we are all good to go.
I forgot to say aye, but I said it under my breath.
Okay.
We got it. We got it. You didn't say no, so we're
we
abstaining.
drowned
so.
you out. We assumed you were part of the crowd.
Alrighty, are we ready to move to resolution 26-6? For establishing a regular meeting schedule for this calendar year. So I read through the resolution and then we can all vote on it.
We don't need to read. I can
Okay.
share the dates.
Perfect.
So these are the dates for 2026. We always decide on a July date later based on need.
Mhm.
And we're keeping our, well, you know, it's in our policies that our organization meetings in January. So it's no longer in December, and that December meeting is in Dead Week. So, but I think we were wondering if you all, it's the first time we moved our December meeting from finals week to Dead Week. Usually like the second week of December is finals week almost always.
Mhm.
Did you guys enjoy that better than the finals week meeting, or do we want to move to finals week, or the third week of December is another option? Well, we just went with what we did already this year. Let this one out.
Yeah, what did you guys think?
It's not, I mean, it really just depends.
It's
you know,
bad either way,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like sometimes there's lots of finals in the end of the week, sometimes there's not.
You can always change your meeting later. It's not the organizational meeting anymore. Not as critical.
We could have it week 10 instead of Dead Week.
That's
since
week
That is
peop-
deadly.
Same.
You're
Yeah.
right, sorry, I say it
Yeah.
week 11, which
Yeah.
is finals week, okay. Week 10 instead of finals week, just because people start to go home in mass.
That's
So we could capture more public attendees during week 10.
So this is week 10, but December 1st.
That's okay. The other students, was it just kind of equally bad?
Yeah.
Equally bad, okay.
Just as a point of inquiry on that, is December 1st late enough in the calendar that we will have, once we have the election this fall, that we'll have results upon which we can swear in the new board? Like, would that happen on the December 1st meeting or the January 12th meeting?
Great question. I'm glad you brought it up. So the December 1st meeting will be before the taking office day. So we'd have results, but the new directors don't take office until the 4th. So the January meeting will be their first meeting, if there's new people.
Yeah, I think that how we did it when we took office
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
we had a swearing in December, but then our official first.
Yeah, we did the ceremony in December, yeah. It was purely ceremonial. Yeah, it's, we're trying to figure this out. We did it one way for a long time. I think we're in that adjustment period right now, so good question. Yeah, it would, so it'd be this board that meets on December 1st.
And we would do the ceremonial swearing in, but then folks would actually take office on January 12th.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do it that way either, right? Like we did that to test it last time, with like, you know, new board, old board, but if you wait till January, you won't have the old board probably there anymore for the swearing in of the new people. It is a stylistic
Yeah, I do
choice.
like how there's the overlap there.
Yeah.
I think I like the way that we're doing it, but if we could please write down on the calendar that those things are gonna happen, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, so we'll put on January 12th, 27 is the first meeting of the new board. Cool, well, we just,
Yeah.
either was
Yeah.
a motion to pass the resolution.
I just wanted to do a point of personal privilege that I will likely be either absent or remote on May 12th because I will be at a conference.
Also, I did want to make note of the January 27th meeting. Is at the same time as very big sports happening. The US women's soccer team is coming to Harder Stadium at the same time on the
Wait,
same
can
day.
we please move that?
It's up to you, yeah. you can
Yeah,
decide.
so-
Beg. Never mind. We can. I would.
Did they
pay
sell out
attention.
of these tickets?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those sold out.
Never mind. You're fine. Go on.
We can still keep, because it seems like I'm the only one who got a ticket, so we're not gonna change government because of me. But
I was gonna call
Kirsten.
Kirsten and ask her for a favor.
What?
For sporting reasons.
I'm kidding. I'm making a
We
joke.
don't have any special,
Really?
that wasn't handled by UCSD. I will be on the 27th of why?
You won't be here. I can tell you what the agenda TBD is on the 27th. It's not a long one. Well, we're gonna get an update on the Goleta Library Services changes that are coming up immediate, but then there'll be others in the future. We're gonna consider a contract with Dixon Resources Unlimited, so I just steal thunder that we're gonna be doing that, but we're getting them to help us implement the parking program, something we've talked about before. We may have an update on the rental inspection program. It's just taking the update the county board had in December and providing it to you all. And then a warming center contract. I mean, this is a small thing, but we're doing a contract with Good Samaritan to run the community center as a warming center when it rains for people who are homeless. So those are the main things on the agenda. There might be one or two other things. But, not super long.
Yeah, and I guess now is as good as time as any to say that I likely won't be able to, I mean, I think I've already mentioned this to a few people, but since I am done or I graduate in the spring, I likely will not be able, because I'll be going home. I don't have a lease going forward. And that means I can't necessarily serve on the board if I'm not living in Isla Vista. And so that would mean my last meeting would probably be June 9th. If I'm reading this correctly, yeah. So I don't know, like, I guess the appointment process, I don't know.
Yeah, so if you, depending on the day, your last day,
Yeah.
it does kick off a process.
Mhm.
We would at least have the 23rd and the 7th to make decisions, but
Okay.
it's up to you when you do that.
All
How
right.
it happens.
Yeah, let me know whenever is the most convenient time for you guys, because I remember there was a bit of a tricky situation with Jay's last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the July 7th meeting and everything, yeah, we'll.
I was just gonna encourage you guys to talk offline about
Okay.
the timing and everything.
All right, perfect, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Do you feel confident, Chair? Okay, 27.
Oh,
Run the meeting next week.
oh, yeah. On the 27th.
And we do agenda review before, so the four of us, me and Sydney and you two will meet on like Friday or Thursday beforehand and go over the whole agenda. And so then we can, we'll prepare everything then, and then we'll meet before and prepare more. Since both of you.
Sounds good.
Okay. Be very cool with your council. Not coming.
Needs to be changed here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Any other scheduling calendar comments?
No, no.
Okay. Can I entertain a motion to approve the resolution?
So
I hear a second.
Second.
All righty. Do you have to do a voice or do roll call?
Roll call, or not even, it's just a voice vote.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Do I have to say fancy things?
You're organized. Good, good.
Am I good? All righty. We can go to our discussion and action items. Yes, okay. All righty, let's get into resolution 26-7. To oppose the new offshore oil leases in federal water. Should I read this one off?
I think you could give it to introduce his authors.
Yes.
Dr. Brandon Hobart.
excellent.
Introduce you guys formally.
Thank you, President Carmichael. I'll be brief in introducing this and then kind of pitch it over to Director Hobart to talk a little bit about what's in the resolution. But I just want to provide some context. We previously asked this board to adopt a resolution opposing the restart of the Sable oil pipeline. Our community, I don't have to tell you, has a long history of dealing with oil spills, particularly the 2015 Refugio spill that fouled our beaches and affected our economy and our recreation. This coalition that is forming of local government agencies, I was first made aware of about a month or so ago by Supervisor Justin Cummings from Santa Cruz County, where they're asking local governments to adopt resolutions to oppose the Trump administration's plan to release more offshore drilling leases. And they are doing this with the specific intent in hopes that if enough local governments make comments, that it will provide some joint level of legal standing to challenge future decisions. Their hope is that things will change at the administrative level and that there won't be legal action needed, but this is a step that we can take that helps further that mission. And so I understand there are some events that are happening this Friday that I think you can talk a little bit about too.
Oh, yeah, there is an event happening. It's like the CEC is hosting, kind of to talk more about, I guess, like the proposed offshore oil drilling and just what that means, and also to come together as a community to talk about like concerns. That I will be attending this from 4:30 to 6:30, and I don't know the exact address, but it's downtown. Yeah.
On State Street.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the exact address was, but yeah, and then.
And I'll just add one thing, that the purpose of that hearing, it's called a people's hearing because the U.S. Department of the Interior is supposed to schedule public hearings about their offshore drilling plan, but they have refused to schedule any public hearings. And so the hope from organizations like CDC and others throughout the state is that it's still a public event that can provide a forum where people can put evidence in the record of the potential environmental harm that this plan will have.
Is there anything else to add?
Do you want to do just like a summary of the ordinance?
Yeah.
Or sorry, the resolution?
Yeah, So, this resolution is essentially just highlighting the different threats that offshore oil drilling poses for Isla Vista specifically and for our community. One of the big issues with oil drilling off of Santa Barbara is that the oil is actually really like heavy and it requires heating in order to be moved through pipes. And what we've discovered through the 2015 spill is that the pipelines can't really handle that kind of oil, and the technology that's supposed to prevent corrosion and things like that doesn't work on that kind of oil as well. So there are some very serious risks that are posed by these kinds of operations. And unfortunately, federal government is going in a direction where they're ignoring those risks, which is why like the CEC meeting is great, because I think it's important for people to be able to talk about those things and verbalize what everyone knows is going on. And then, yeah, throughout the resolution, we just talk about how operations pose a threat to the coastal environment, public health, safety, and the economy, which I think is pretty straightforward. I think that a lot of people know what happened in 2015 with the oil spill, how that impacted people's ability to enjoy the beach and its recreational access, but also the impact that it had on marine animals. And obviously it was also extremely economically harmful for Santa Barbara because Plains All American was not able to foot the full bill as well, so it fell on taxpayers. So there are a lot of different concerns with these kinds of proposed developments, and I think that it's important for IVCSD to recognize that too, just like as our organization.
So we don't bring positional resolutions to this
Oh, yeah,
board very
sorry.
often, but I think that this is definitely one that is worth our while, just given the fact that we are in a uniquely situated place as a coastal community that has had our community very harmed by this in the past. So happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Do we take public comment? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any public comments in person or on Zoom for this item?
We received one email that I forwarded to the board from my,
Okay, do we want to read that aloud or just?
it wasn't
In the
requested,
record,
it's in the
so-
record.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, any other board discussion on this matter?
I'll move approval of this resolution.
I'll second. Right. Do we want roll call or voice?
Voice vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Abstentions? All right,
But you can request the roll call anytime you want.
okay, perfect. Well, seeing the ayes have it. All right,
Thank you.
motion is so approved. I'm not sure of the fancy language.
You're good, you're good.
It's like legal language I have to say. All right.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. You can always just say motion passes unanimously if there's no opposition.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Excellent, excellent addition from our lawyer. Thank you. All right. Motion passes. We can move to agenda item 5.2, our 2026 Spring Festival budget.
Okay, well, I'll give an update from the county meeting
Yeah.
that's relevant, and then I'll pass it to Maya, who wrote this great staff report, to present the plan. But essentially what happens is today, the county board of supervisors, they didn't officially pass it officially passes in 2 weeks, but they gave, approval to an ordinance that would put in place a 72-hour restriction on music and events that have music in Isla Vista during the weekend of Deltopia. But our board, we had suggested an amendment in December to that ordinance that would provide a legal pathway and an explicit legal pathway for IVCSD to be able to have a sanctioned permitted event under the ordinance. And so that was not accepted at the time, but on Saturday, we did receive word that it has been reconsidered and an amendment was put into the ordinance that made it clear that events by state and local agencies do have a pathway to get a permit. So we are more confident now, and based on the commentary by the Board of Supervisors, by their staff, and by our attorney's legal analysis, we believe that the new language gives us the confidence we need to know that we can plan an event, knowing we have a high chance to get a permit as we comply with all the permit requirements, versus before we were we could have brought this to you in December even. A lot of these plans had already been developed by then, but we didn't know if we would even get permitted to put on an event. So now that we have that, we are able to move forward with this event if the board approves today. And I'll turn it over to Maya to give you her presentation on what we plan to do with our spring festival that's on the same day as Deltopia this year in April.
Well, normally I have a super fun slideshow for you guys, but honestly, I've been very, very busy putting this together. So you'll have to just hear me talk at you for a little bit. First, I'll just start with the overall recommendation to kind of garner where we're looking and what's important for us to take away from this. I want you to look at this new plan for an event that I'm currently calling Novatopia, and I'll explain myself. I'd like us to consider approving the job description for event leads, adjust the existing budget contingent on fundraising, and increase the scope and land print of our event through community collaboration with students, business owners, organizations, and county agencies to ensure a well-rounded and safe space during Deltopia. Now, I'm sure at this point you are all aware, because you were all on the board when we hosted our last spring festival, what we've done in the past. We take over Little Acorn Park, we've got the free tacos, we have the entertainment. You're familiar. And we really want to continue to build on that for this new iteration of what we're seeing with Deltopia. And we want to keep the same goals that we have in the past, which is making sure that we protect the vibrant music scene in Isla Vista and also celebrate all local artists. And so when I was thinking about what to do, and when I was talking to the UCSB Associated Students Board, I presented a lot of different ideas, things on campus, things in Isla Vista, things with a big headliner name to attract people versus just a bunch of pop-up spaces. And what I heard from community feedback is that we want an organic event that is true to what Deltopia has been, which is a bunch of smaller venues coming together to host something. So that's exactly what I'm proposing. Save the Music Novatopia is a multi-zone festival that centers all of the great things that make our community fabulous. The name Novatopia is inspired by Nova, which is a star that burns a little extra bright and then goes back to normal, which from my experience as an alumni, it's kind of what Deltopia is. Go a little extra for this first weekend of spring break, and then you go back to the amazing fun that you always have. That's what it's inspired by. I've been working with Foot Patrol to do a decreased police presence in the map of where we will have the event. So taking over the loop, what does that look like? So we're at the bottom of the loop right now. So we'll see our parks activating Little Acorn. We'll also activate the co-op ideally, and moving on to Pardall. We'll operate at least 3 spots on Pardall with local businesses. And then Woodstocks will take over Madrid and collaborate with those businesses. And then we're also looking at Anascoyo Park. So it'll be a very big footprint in comparison to what we've done last year. And you might be thinking, Maya, you're crazy. How are we going to expand footprint to be that big? Well, I want to go to the community. I don't think that this needs to be, or I don't think this should be an event that is only run by IVCSD. Deltopia is a community-wide celebration, and so I want the community to be part of the solution, which is why I'm proposing something called event leads. Essentially, what will happen is by hiring event leads internally, we will be giving job opportunities for students, local leaders to be able to plan an event. And then I will operate as like a cohort mentor to give them all of the different things that they need to do in order to make it in compliance with the county permitting. So it'll be under one big umbrella, which is our Novatopia Festival, but we'll be activating different things that I've been calling entertainment zones. So each entertainment zone will have live music or a live DJ, we'll have decor, water, security, and some sort of free offering. This is what Associated Students Program Board was really passionate about, and this is what they're funding. They're helping us be able to fund these entertainment zones that I've been calling. I mentioned decreased police presence, so let me go back to that. I wanted to give you a perception of what it looked like. So I talked to Foot Patrol, and we are working to have 2 police tables at our event. So these are places where police will be seated, and community members can go up and engage with them if they want. However, what we are working to do is have this festival be primarily patrolled by security. So you've seen security in our events before in Little Acorn, and we would like to expand that. So each local business will have their own security, and then roaming the streets of the Loop and in our activated Novatova area will primarily be security guards. So there'll be decreased police presence in our footprints. We want this to continue to be a form of economic development for our businesses. As it stands right now, if businesses don't participate in this umbrella and activate these entertainment zones like we've requested, then they won't be able to have any music at all. And so we want to make sure that businesses are able to have music. Now, how are we going to tell who's local and who's not, and how are we going to facilitate the crowd? Well, I'm recommending that we do wristbands for $8,000. Now, I know that there's many more students who come to Deltopia, but I think this is giving students an opportunity to sign up to be a part of it. And if you have a wristband, you will get perks. You're essentially VIP. You will get into venues first. You won't stand in line if there is a line, which I am anticipating. And you'll be identified as a local. You'll only be able to get a wristband if you register your address with us, and so we can confirm that you're a local. Now, other people that don't have a wristband, they'll still be allowed to enter these venues because we don't want to take any of that income away from potential local businesses. So just because you have a wristband doesn't mean you're the only person who will be able to engage in the event, but you will be able to get all of the free perks that will be at each space. And moving forward, in order to make this event possible, like I said, we'll work as an intermediary between local businesses, talent, organizations, and county agencies to ensure that we have seamless communication. We'll facilitate these micro events in the spaces I talked about called entertainment zones. And like I said, we're going to hire community members to help make it happen. And I have some examples of what the entertainment zones will have. Live bands, DJs, interactive art, markets, a beer garden, which has been in the works, a large art display, and we will also have proper bathrooms, water, and security to support all of the crowd capacity. Our staff will support funding distribution, permit application, safety planning, logistics, and the temporary staff funding to make this vision possible for the community. And we will host a second town hall next Tuesday to invite the community to be a part and be an active participant in the planning and facilitation of this process. And we'll actively work with local agencies to create a unified communication plan between the fire, EMS, and all of the other groups that work on this, including permitting and public works. So I have a little timeline here. I've already been doing some business outreach to see what businesses are on board and making this happen. And I do feel really confident that we have the businesses on board necessary to make this happen. I don't want to share them right now because we need them to sign contracts and there's 6 steps in place. But just know that businesses are really excited about this and about the opportunity to be involved in something like this. And we've received really positive feedback so far. I'd like the event lead application process to start tomorrow because, as you know, we have a very short window to make this happen. This is April 4th. This is insane timeline to make an event happen. I want to get this help hired and on board as soon as possible. You'll also see that the application process for this, also has a lot of questions of what they see their vision to be. So that'll take a lot of what it will look like. And we'll be able to facilitate those conversations. I talked about the town hall. And then we have the Battle of the Bands and DJ competition that we've hosted every year in the past. I think this will act as another way to have coveted spots. So we'll have like headliners of local bands if they win the contest, but we will just do general outreach that people can just sign up to be a part or consider to be a performer, even if they don't participate in this battle like they did last year. I have the event day schedule activation from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then I'll talk about the budget. So current funding as it is right now is we have 110 of our existing festival budget. That has not changed from last year at all. That's consistent with what we've always spent. And then we have $140,000 that was sponsored by UCSB AS Program Board, specifically for the entertainment zone. So that concept that I'm talking to you about. So you'll see in line 1, entertainment zones are covered. I have the base need, which I'm identifying as this is the base that we need to make this happen. And that includes the staffing. This is the bare minimum. These are the bare bones of what this event could be.
Then current is where we're at right now with what our funding is. And then our ideal is where we'd like to be, where we'd like to get to in order to make this happen. So you'll see what's still needed. So I'm still actively exploring partnerships from a lot of different UCSD organizations and local businesses with my team. We're talking to IVCSD, we're talking with EVPLA, we're talking with the Senate. So I don't think that this is all the funding that we're going to get, especially given the news of today. However, I just want to be honest with what we have and what I think we need. If we don't get any more sponsorships, which, like I said, I'm really feeling optimistic about it, but if we don't, I do recommend adding that extra 30,000 so that we're matching what program board is doing. So program board's giving 140,000. If we can't meet those needs on our own through other sources of fundraising, I do recommend that we take that step to meet the ideal budget costs. And the last thing on here is just the Novatopia event lead job description, which if you have questions about what that job looks like in more detail, I'm happy to talk about it more, but just at a high level, I'm looking to hire students or locals that want the event experience. They want to plan events, they're passionate about it, they're affiliated in organizations, they want to see something for Deltopia happen. And I'm just gonna teach them how to do it the right way. So it'll be a cohort. We'll meet once a week, I'll see where they're at in their event planning process. I will still be processing all of the permits, but they will be collecting information, they will get to use their creative vision in order to really decide what they want this event to look and feel like. So again, to close, I want to reiterate, IVCSD's role in this is mainly as a facilitator between all of these different groups and to get everyone to come together to plan an event. Obviously, I'm still doing a lot, right? We're activating the parks, we're doing a lot of things that we've done in the past, but what this really is getting the community to work together to find a solution that they fuel and power. And that's like why that is also why we are stressing the town hall model as well. We're really trying to encourage people to come next week so that we can get as many people on board as possible. I'm going to stop there. I think I did a broad overview, but I'm happy to answer questions or things that you'd like more detail on. Because I don't have any visuals I also want to include because, again, I don't want to out businesses before I have 100% of their commitment. So, questions from the board? Lots of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever first.
All right. How are the entertainment zones demarcated? Like, what is, because there's different zones, but like, what about the space in between? Are they like, is each entertainment zone like fenced off? Like, how does
Great
the whole
question.
process work?
So there's some venues that are going to be indoors. So the indoor venues will have a natural fenced off because they will likely be inside a business, and so they'll be a line outside. Now, for other venues that are more open, I am not planning to do any fencing. This is because I think that our event has a wide enough footprint to spread people out, and I worry about fencing confining people in the case of an emergency. Now, for example, things like a beer garden required to be fenced in.
Yeah.
If you have a beer garden, you have to be within the confines of that space, and you can't leave with your drink or open container. So that's important to know. Like there will be closed off spaces, and also there will be security monitoring, crowd control. So, for example, Anascoil Park. You know how that has the big amphitheater. There's only so many people that can fit in that space at once. That is probably going to have an active flow in and out. But no, I'm not recommending fencing as a whole. I am recommending 2 street closures though. Hardall and Madrid in front of Woodstocks.
Okay.
Those are the only 2 I'm recommending because Embarcaderos really do need to stay open for emergency traffic control.
Jumping off that, would that mean the event is more centered on the, what is it, like the western side of, the eastern side of?
The campus side, you mean?
Yeah, the campus side.
Yes, the loop.
Yeah.
So I'll show you like the circle, right? So we're gonna likely have an event over here. We've got the whole top part. We've got all the parks in the loop. We've got Little Acorn still, and then Madrid. So it like makes a big circle. I originally thought, oh, how fun would it be to call it Looptopia, but come on, that sounds ridiculous. So I kind of scratched that. I mean, if you're passionate about it, I'm open-minded, but.
I was gonna say I like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it makes more sense than Nova.
And again, like I said, this is just how we're talking about it right now. If the community comes to me, on next Tuesday and is like, we want this to be Looptopia by all means, like whatever the community wants. But
We want, can't make the decision. No, I'm just.
If you want.
I don't, yeah,
If you want
if you
to.
want to, yeah, I really. More questions?
What, if any, role is IVRPD taking?
They are allowing use of the parks.
They're gonna rent us the parks at no cost,
Oh, well,
with a
that's
deposit,
lovely.
but yeah, for damages.
And I'll just say, I was sat in on a meeting with Jonathan Maya and a number of Ivy Rec and Park board members and their staff, and it was a very good and collaborative meeting where they were
Very good.
incredibly helpful
Oh, nice.
at providing all the checklists that we'll need to be able to rent the parks, and we're very supportive of the vision.
And Maya's doing a walkthrough tomorrow.
And then when you talk about a decreased police presence, is that just in our footprints? And so how is that interfacing with whatever's going on Del Playa?
Great question. So as we've heard from the patrol many times is that they aren't changing any staffing from last year. So we will likely see the same amount of police in Isla Vista last year, this year. However, when I pitched this idea to Joe, he was very much in support of having security be the only roaming in our mapped footprint. Obviously, if there's an emergency, right, the police will be there to support any emergency. They do have the staff, but they will likely be focusing their efforts on DP and other areas of Isla Vista, minus the 2 tables at our event, and security will be in charge of roaming and patrolling our space, along with first aid stations, EMTs, and recovery centers.
So will the major footprint for medical response be in our area then?
We're working with the EMS plan to see how they want to integrate. I've given them a lot of different options, and I've given them a lot of placement of where first aid stations can be in our event footprint. They're still working on their plan, but whatever they want, we will do. So we will be integrated into the larger system of that day.
Yeah, including their security will be plugged in with the law enforcement.
Thank you.
I had 2 questions. So one was, I was just thinking about like Battle of the Bands and kind of questioning like if we need to do a full scale Battle of the Bands. I feel like local bands might have more of an incentive to perform now that there's nothing else going on. So maybe we could just do like, just see what the interest is before turning it into like money being poured into like, I know last year there was like the, I don't remember exactly, it was like a video that they got to do afterwards if they won, things like that. So I feel like some fans might be more inclined to like participate if there's not a lot of other like strings attached to it, I guess. So that was just one thing I wanted to throw out there. I do like the Battle of the Bands. I just think like there might, I don't know, there might be more interest.
And I think definitely, like last year, we tried to do more of like a Battle of the Bands event. I don't necessarily think that's the direction we want to go, especially because the timeline in our staff and the fact that, you know, exactly what you're saying. We want to make sure that we're using our resources well. So I don't think it'll be the same. And if there's more interest just to have people sign up, because we'll give people the option, then I am very open to not doing that.
Yeah.
I think we were gonna use it as like a, gathering interest in screen, like if a business wants to pick the band for their entertainment zone, they can go and screen bands that way.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking too, like even if it's just time slots, I know there's a lot of like concerts at the park that will have like 12 to 4 p.m. and there's a different band
Right.
like every hour or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
And then my other question was about the name of the event. I think it's really nice. I feel like I could see people making fun of it, just like based off of like when I was first reading about it. So I was wondering if there would be a chance of letting like Isla Vista residents at the town hall maybe talk about their ideas of naming the event and have it be like a more community generated name. Yeah, I don't know, just to make it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
I think we did that in 2019, the first time we were doing this. It was in our survey, what do you think the event should be named? So, great, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I get the like play on, Topia, like to keep it spelled Topia, but yeah, it might even be, I mean, I don't know, I was just thinking like if we call it a spring festival or something along those lines, that might be good to make, like to separate from all of the negative stuff going around with Deltopia, I don't know, but.
Good point. Can I say something, you guys, because I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
time. I always went with Ivopia, but nobody didn't make any waves. That was my name for it. But last couple of days ago, I think it was Sunday, they had the health and wellness people were in the park. They had a big shindig, and they had a petting zoo.
Yeah.
And you know, it was a big crowd. It was just right at the beginning. I was there, and they already had like a crowd of people, and people were like, "Oh, they got a petting zoo coming in the park," you know. People
Well,
were
that's the
like,
thing.
excited.
Yeah, we did that.
And you know, and it seems like, you know, health and wellness, and whenever they're on campus, the health and wellness people, they're like this huge crowd. It's like a really big, you know, they really draw, you know, people. And I think, you know, you say Deltopia, health and wellness is kind of like opposite.
No, but I worked with them a lot actually last year in our communication and outreach, so they're definitely active participants. In
Oh, they
what
are?
we do. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, excellent,
Yeah.
because I think that would be a really, you know, they really seem to know what they're doing as far as, you know, drawing a crowd and getting the party going
Totally, I agree.
in a healthy, you know, a healthy way, which is what we're trying to do, right? That's what we're trying to promote, a more healthy environment. And sometime I'll tell you guys about how it all started, because I was there when it began. Long story. But great meeting you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you, Mark.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yes.
I had a couple questions. First, so talking about the sequencing of things and the timeline.
Mhm.
So am I correct? We have, from what I heard at the board of hearing today, 3 weeks to get the application in. Submitted?
60 days before,
2 weeks.
before, so only 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
That's
We're
also why I'm
almost
trying to hire very, very quickly, because although I can put the overall application together just with me and the businesses, like the nitty gritty also needs to be figured out and included in the application, like the full application, which I've been working with them, they know the time crunch we're in, so just getting something in that 60-day window to start is really important. But we have there's a lot that needs to be done in the next 2 weeks.
So when we submit the application, we want to have something that is relatively complete, but there might be some things that change in the back and forth as the permit gets processed.
For example, like a site map exactly of where everything is gonna be is needed for this permit application, and I anticipate that things will change as we hire event leads and they might wanna put things in different places, so not different venues or entertainment zones, but how they're laid out. But like, for example, it's really important to identify like where the emergency exits are gonna be and how many bathrooms are gonna be allocated and where they will be. So like all of that needs to be figured out in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's just a really important point that we all really need to hear, is that like our staff is under an incredible time crunch to get this done. And so the way that I kind of think about this to a certain extent is I can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We didn't choose this timeline. The sheriff's office chose this timeline, and that's why we're here today. That said, I am so impressed with everything that you and the whole team have done over the last number of weeks to get our ducks in a row and to have basically already begun to get agreements from local businesses that are interested in participating. I think that it's huge. It helps activate the loop. That's the number one complaint that I got from a group that was not either students or long-term residents, was local businesses wondering what was going to happen to the revenue that they make during these large spring events. So I love the approach that we're taking. The town hall, that's going to happen next week. Can you talk a little bit more about that? When are we going to announce it? Like that sort of thing.
Yes, did you actually see that in the slide or not? Okay, sorry, it's been a long day. But no, we intentionally saved the announcement for the town hall until after today's news released. So we will be announcing it tomorrow. We want to use this as an opportunity to say, hey, we know you're mad, here's what you can do. And so we'll have something going out tomorrow, and then we'll have another reminder that goes out probably at the end of the week. or no, I'm sorry, we'll have something goes out tomorrow, we'll be posting reminders all week, and then we'll have another reminder for the event lead and other involvement opportunities after the town hall. So town hall's on Tuesday, on Friday, we're doing another reel that will talk about the job openings in case they didn't hear about it at the town hall. And then we'll also be advertising all of the ways that bands can get involved, artists can sign up, organizations can share interests. We'll have like a general involvement form where people can identify who they are and how they want to be involved.
And how are we planning on doing outreach for that? We're talking to, the existing list of bands, I'm assuming that we have from previous community center stuff and previous community center attendees and our usual social
We'll
channels.
definitely first do outreach to all of the bands that were in our Battle of the Bands last year. So we had some crazy number, like almost 30, I think, that signed up and submitted a video. So we'll definitely be outreaching to all of them. I know that IV
Sounds of Music.
Thank you, Sounds of Music also reached out to me with wanting to support and having outreach. I've had more bands actually reach out to me in my business involvement than I had businesses. So I'm actually not worried at all about bands knowing about this because I've already had a lot of people express interest. However, I will still be reaching out to them directly and making sure that people know about it. I think for event leads and things like that, I'll probably share with some organizations on campus because I do want students to be involved. I think this is a really awesome opportunity if people are passionate about event planning. It's something they want to try. It's a short commitment and very well paid, which is intentional because we want people to be involved.
That's fine. Please share the social assets with us. I'd love to do personal invites to, I've probably talked with hundreds of people, students and long-term residents since this whole conversation started, and want to do some personal invites to folks to show up and be a part of that. Because I think it's great how you're putting power in the hands of the community to say what they want to see. And with that, I want to tack on a me too to Kylan's comment that I do think that a part of this that like shouldn't be so huge, but for whatever reason is the name. Yeah. And so I think it would be good for the community to get to sort of give their input on the name. It's something very tangible that I think people can like feel like they can contribute to, even if they're not expert event planners.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had asked program board a lot. I'd given them a couple, and they were like, "I don't care." Not saying that, but like they were just like, "Yeah, we'll think about it." We'll
That's because they're professional, event planners.
So I think definitely we'll keep it open and let people give any input they have.
I was gonna ask if Birchwood has reached out as a band. Because I would say that's like the biggest band in Ivy. And yeah, I think like a lot of people would probably show up for the sake of their name on the set list alone.
Okay.
And then there was something else.
How does this work with liquor licenses? Like,
great question.
Yeah.
So the businesses that I'm collaborating with that will likely be serving alcohol are the ones that already do so. And so we're not reinventing the wheel here. For example, if Dublin's were to participate, they would be having a 21 up and only event space inside the bar, which would only be for 21 up. If we had a beer garden, which I'm actively working on, it would be a space that is only 21 up. It would be from a local vendor that already does beer gardens and has done them at many other places in the past and knows how to do all the ABC licensing. If you're going somewhere that is mixed 18 up and 20 up, like somewhere you can order pitchers, that is on the business's responsibility, as it always is, to check your IDs and make sure that you're doing things the right way. So as far as liquor licenses, we, IVCSD, will not be serving any alcohol. However, there will be sites that are involved in our overarching event that will. And when we do give, because part of our entertainment zone budget is like upwards of $5,000 to give each of these participating businesses to offer something for free that likely will be timed in different areas. So like free pizza somewhere from 1 to 2, free ice cream, whatever, at different spaces around the day. We will not be paying for any like free alcohol, right? Like, you're not gonna get a free shot sponsored by IVCSD, that's illegal. But like, if they do something, you know,
Good call.
special for wristbands, that's on the business, right? And so it really does, again, give all the licensing in the hands of people who do this all the time.
I remembered my other question. Have you talked to like Surfrider at all? Because I know I'm in the Isla Vista chapter of Surfrider, and I know that we have like a concert for the coast that goes on spring quarter. And I know that they care about like fundraising and stuff, so that might be like another avenue, someone to host something or have some kind of booth going on, because they're definitely like looking for ways to fundraise for their concert.
Well, I would love that. You should tell them to come to the town hall. But also, I'll reach out too. But again, I want to stress that each of these entertainment zones, it's going to be a requirement for event leads to pull in organizations. It's in the application. Like, what organizations are you affiliated with? And if you're not affiliated with any organizations, what organizations are you planning to outreach to? And how are you going to guarantee their involvement? So we don't want this to be like one person who just wants to throw a party by themselves. Like, this is all very intentional, right? We want people to bring in organizations who might have host events on DP normally, right? Like, hosting it in the business loop with the proper resources and safety measures in place.
I have a question about the wristband. So the wristband number, that's like, I'm assuming that's kind of flexible depending on how many residents sign up, right?
Yes,
is
so
it-
it's kind of like a max, I would say.
Okay, there's 8,000 is the max. Or like-
For wristbands.
Yeah,
I
okay.
anticipate, based on what we've heard from different statistics and what we know about the event,
Uh-huh.
I anticipate that at least 10,000 of the attendees are locals.
Okay.
That's my estimate,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's very loose.
Mhm.
So based on that, we wanted to make it a little bit coveted, where like, if you didn't know about it this year and you didn't get one as a local, that you might be really motivated to get one next year.
Okay.
And so that's why we have a little bit less than what I think is 10,000.
Okay.
Now, those other 2,000 locals that I might not be accounting for, they're still gonna be able to come to the
Yeah.
event. They just might not get the free pizza from 1 to 2 at X
Okay.
venue, or like, they might not get to go in first with their friends who got a wristband. And I think another important thing that we're doing with wristbands, and why I even explored the idea in the first place, is because one of the biggest gripes is, you know, keep it safe, keep it local. And so I think when you have a wristband and we are requiring people who have a wristband to confirm their address, we are saying, like, if you have a wristband, you're a local. Like, this event is for you. And like, if you don't have a wristband, you might not be a local and you're not as cool. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're having some level of othering
Mhm.
there for whatever reason.
We love otherness.
For this day.
I just wanna know who's who.
But
I
what
think
I,
that works extra well if the wristbands are like super high quality, like
And they
the
look cool.
festival.
Fingers crossed, this budget does include like festival, like
Oh yeah, I was
wristbands.
gonna say that too, because if it's like,
Not
No,
the
it's not
plastic,
gonna be a
like the
pink,
Coachella,
no.
like the Coachella.
It'll be
It's not gonna be
designed.
a snow
It'll be
wristband.
designed like
Yeah.
Coachella. We will have, and that is another like really big part of this whole plan. Like, it's gonna look really nice. It's gonna have like the graphic design to the nines. We're gonna have a cool artist. We're gonna make this something that feels special. I know that it's hard
Mhm.
switching something new. So that means we have to work extra hard to make sure that this is like worthwhile.
But it's gonna be like a local artist who makes the design.
Mhm.
That's very cool.
oh, there's also like the Halloween posters that they make for that, that event. Like, I feel like if we did like a really cool poster.
We
and
usually
just
do, yeah.
Put it everywhere.
Yes, we will. Also, that one's not a local artist.
I don't think, it looks nice.
No, we usually do that. We usually do.
We do
something.
have a local artist, and I already have someone in mind, and we've been working with, but it will be open. It's by the town halls next week. So if I have a ton of artists that want to like work on this project and help with the branding, wow, whole team, you know, like, again, it really is like, we want people to come and make this what they want. And if people don't come, that's when I'm like, I'll panic a little bit, you know, we want people to be active participants.
And then, yeah, I was gonna ask about the timeline on the wristbands. Like, how are you gonna release them? Like, when's that gonna open up? How's that process gonna work?
I'm anticipating March. I have a
Okay.
lot to do, honestly, between now and February,
Mhm.
getting everything sorted. So I'm anticipating a tabling in March. So we're exploring a lot of ideas. I think one, we'll definitely have an online platform where people can submit, but I also think what we'll do is table.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm allowed to. Some orgs on campus use this model, tabling to get access. to things in order, so you can register your address with like some of our staff at a table, and then we'll give you your wristband, etc.
I just had one more question, because I think it's awesome that you really have expanded the sponsorship asks this year. And I wanted to ask, so, are we making sponsorship asks to all of our big vendors and other large companies that we work with? I'm thinking about the utilities that we have, the utility user tax rate on. Have we thought about that?
Marburg.
Yes.
Yes, we are asking everyone we can possibly think of. I feel lucky that my team is helping me with this part. But like any local business that you can think of, plus the big names, they've got an email from us or a call or a visit. We hope they get back to us.
Excellent.
Soon.
That's awesome. You guys are really on top of it. I'm really impressed. You have a monumental amount of things to accomplish, but I know that I feel confident that it is accomplishable. But we're gonna need to help. I think
We need to help.
you're
Mike,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Please
do need
You
help.
need to get-
Please tell your friends.
You get
Please
butts
tell
and
people
chairs.
come.
Yeah.
I think is really
Yeah,
important.
if
Butts and
anyone
chairs
has
at the town hall.
connections to donors.
Do you have any rich friends? No, I'm just kidding. People in high places. No.
Wrong community for that.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
I just have a couple questions, comments. And I love when I go last because I can.
Oh, you're not going last.
And what?
Do you want to go last?
No, I just want to go now.
Okay.
So, okay, first of all, Maya, we know never to count you down. The most impossible task is never impossible for you, and this is a testament to that. I mean, it is unbelievable. Just all the things that you've planned are in progress, that you're thinking of, that you're, I mean, I'm just your brain. You're doing amazing work, and my hat's off to you, because this feels overwhelming just to listen to. So with all that said, I have two worries, and I just have to get them out. And they're probably already your worries, maybe. I do worry about the permit process and only having 2 weeks. And so I guess and I think you already said this, is that the county is aware there'll be like one application that's kind of an umbrella, and then the county's aware that there'll be individual kind of applications, and you will help to shepherd those through the process. So they already know that, they're ready for that. Okay, that's cool.
Maya has
Yeah,
met with all the county departments in the fall and then met with the CEO's office.
Yeah, I
last
heard
week.
that today, and I was so impressed. By the way, I was very impressed with your comments today. The other thing, and maybe this is just the old person, but I'm just gonna have to say it, is that I really don't like the name. And I don't like to save the music, because I think it's negative. And I think that as a local government organization, I think we have a responsibility to be responsible, right? And to project a certain image that this is something that is fun and not in response to anything, but is something proactive that we're doing to bring the community together. And I think the Save the Music kind of is it's kind of a nod to what the sheriff's office has put out there to kill the music. And I just don't think it projects a responsibility and a positiveness. So, and I know that you want to bring this to the town hall. I guess that's okay. What I worry about is what comes out of there, maybe something negative, and just not representative of what we're trying to promote. So I just throw that out to you to really give thought to it. It's important, because this is going to be talked about a lot, and it's going to be something that gets replicated from year to year. So how we represent ourselves in the community and this government, I think it's important in the name. And then I wanted to ask a question about how do you try and ensure there's nobody putting in addresses that they don't actually live at? Like, how do you prove that? And the reason I ask is it's one of the students today talked about using your ID card.
We're gonna have to work on that. And
Yeah.
it's part of, what was said last time, that we're gonna need to do that one day if we ever got to permits for cars.
Yeah.
That's gonna be down the line by far, but it'll be a learning opportunity for us to see how it's done. And it could be leases, bills, Lots of different things we can use. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, like my roommate was just registered at the co-op the other day, and like finding our lease took 20 minutes. Like it's
Yeah.
like that is a genuine concern. Like people don't save their leases, and a lot of times landlords have it in like a private website domain, and it's not like easy to access. Like I can only pay my rent on the computer.
Yeah, people can do a voter registration,
That's
a
true.
bill, anything that ties them to that address. We'll have to, it's a work in progress
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned the co-op because that was something that will kind of look as a model of how they're verifying too. So it's good to know.
I have two questions. So the wristband is gonna be IB residents, and is it also gonna be UCSB and SBCC students?
IB residents. So if they
IB
are SBCC students that live in Isla Vista,
Okay,
then yes. And if they're UCSB students that live in Isla Vista, then yes.
but not the dorms.
All the freshmen.
Well, the dorm, dorms.
They're technically
Yeah, 'cause
not
they're
in
the
our
dorms.
jurisdiction, but that's something, we can provide them a wristband to identify them. It's not giving them, but it's, I think we want to prioritize the people who pay taxes into
Sure.
our district, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I
okay.
guess, like you said earlier, the wristband, not having a wristband doesn't mean you don't participate. You still
Exactly.
participate.
Exactly.
And there'll be a lot of people without wristbands.
There will be, especially because, right, if we think about, the number the sheriff says is gonna come is 30,000. That's the number that we hear the most often. What is Deltopia? So we technically are really only thinking about 1/3 of who's potentially coming. And 8,000 of that 1/3, being wristbanded.
Which is pretty much 1/3, but yeah, no one has a clear sense of what the breakdown is. This is actually gonna maybe help us know
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
breakdown is.
And who's a local?
Do we get all
Right.
8,000 taken or not? That will
Yeah.
tell us something.
Good. And shoot me out, this is way too complicated. Could we do like a local wristband and then like a you live in the dorm wristband? Because they're not taxpayers, but they're not
Identify.
outsiders, they're not
We
not
can,
local.
we can definitely do that.
You might want to expand the number, I think.
Yeah. we
Yeah,
might-
but then I feel like a lot of students that like people who like didn't get housing and live in Goleta might be pissed off, and like SBCC students who don't live in Ivy might be pissed off.
We could just say it's in our sphere of influence.
That's
But-
true.
Yeah.
Isn't it technically like I love stuff?
Right, because like you're not.
I mean, at
Yeah.
that point, it's like, oh, if you live in Ventura, you can come down, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, the
okay,
point
yeah.
is to keep it local, so
Yeah,
it's kind of,
I like ID only.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not exclusionary, because they can still come, they just don't have a risk.
Yeah.
You just don't get the perks.
And let's just say, like, right, we only have 8,000, and let's just say, because I think it'll be difficult to do two different, well, like, we don't really
Yeah,
want
it's
to.
Yeah.
complicated. sure.
But like, I do think it's a really good point that, there's a lot of freshmen that live on campus that we don't really think about in our like Ivy local number, I would say.
Mhm.
So let's say like we start this process of like getting people to come in and we have like an over influx of like a bunch of people from the dorms that are taking over like more than half of 8,000, which
Mhm.
I actually have no idea how many people live in the dorms. Is it?
It's a lot.
10,000.
Okay, so then so like, let's say it starts filling up with primarily freshmen. Then I would maybe say, let's up the wristbands to
Transfer.
more and
Well,
go from there.
Wait a minute, I don't understand. I thought we were saying this is for IB residents.
It is for
wristbands.
IB
But
residents.
anyone
So
in a
then
public event,
people in the dorms aren't IB residents.
they'll still be able to attend the event.
Right, but they wouldn't need a wristband.
No,
No.
but it's just, that was the question.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Was,
see, I see.
Could
Oh,
we,
I'm so
could we
confused.
create a wristband for them,
Got it.
which is yes.
And
It's maybe something we can talk with AS on, so
Yeah.
they're,
Oh, AS could sponsor them.
if the, yeah,
Oh,
if AS
that's
is
a good
paying,
point.
maybe
Yeah.
that's something we can work out with
Yeah,
them.
because that is a
So-
good point, like, we should prioritize our taxpayers, you know?
Right.
Um,
And also, I feel weird saying that like freshmen aren't locals either, to be honest. Like when we
Yeah.
say like keep it safe, keep it local, like
Yeah.
we're not annexing all the freshmen and saying like, you're not local, you don't live in IB,
Yeah.
right? Like, because they are a part of the community, I would say. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, and we want them to be excited to come and do it next year, right?
Yeah.
Or
Safely,
They're
yeah.
also probably the grade with the highest
Probably
percentage of attendees.
of
all
attendees,
the grades.
exactly. So, and, yeah, but they won't even be allowed to go to all the spaces, right? 'Cause some of the
No.
spaces are like
21.
21 and up, so it
Yeah.
is kind of complicated.
People living in Ivy though, so
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just wanted to provide the comment that I think that one thing that we shouldn't forget that Maya is kind of alluding to is that the wristband is also meant to be a tool to help provide some level of exclusivity in attendees' minds that the experience will not be as good for their friends that they might be thinking about inviting
Right.
from
Yeah.
out of town. And I think that I really defer to your judgment on how to best effectuate that in whatever the wristband policy is. I don't want to get into the weeds on it personally. But I'm always the one, I'm not very good at party planning. So maybe that's where my bias shows.
So the name of the game is marketing and outreach, I guess.
Yes, which you'll see in our budget is actually the underfunded realm right now
Oh,
that we
yeah.
need the most support and sponsorships are. Now, I did that intentionally because while I think marketing and outreach is the most important, well, not most important, but like very important, I think harm reduction, right, is like most important and it kind of so like, there's and we're a very creative team, right? Like we have the power, we have our active, civic leadership program going on with volunteers. We have opportunities that we can utilize to do things like canvassing, and that is, well, relatively free in this budget, but not in our time, right? So there are ways we can make that up. But it will be really important just for all of you all being, representatives in your distinguished areas, to just really help with that outreach and spreading the word and telling people that if they want to see Deltopia become what they want, that to get involved and do it, and that we support them.
And it's just the first year. It's not gonna be.
It's only year one.
Yeah, it'll be better next year.
It's a new
for sure, yeah.
concept.
Wait, final question. I know we talked about this in the past, but like what about did we like talk with the police about like pre-games? Like what their policing strategies look like?
It's kind of murky. They
Yeah.
said that music cannot be played, that they,
Cannot be played,
the
or cannot be
spirit
Can't be heard,
played.
cannot be heard from the
Yeah.
property line, yeah.
Like, yeah, they said even if it was an iPhone speaker playing music, that would give them the right to not shut something down. So it's like anything at all like that. So, but then they were like, oh, the spirit of it, we're not going to, but I can't guarantee that for the 300 officers that will be in Alabama. So it's basically just up to people to decide what the risk is.
They also didn't commit to giving warnings either.
Yeah.
I asked him multiple times on that and he.
But
So
it's a little bit confusing
Yeah.
because what they didn't answer so much was like, what if you had a large gathering at your house of 50 people, but there was no music being played, but it was noisy and they could hear lots of people inside.
It's amplified music that's banned,
Yeah.
so
That's.
people's noise is fine.
Yeah,
Like
probably
people
knows the
talking
church
is
guy.
fine.
Yeah.
Would be great.
Oh, is it actually?
No, it
It is.
I looked, yeah, it is. Yeah, no, we asked them and they had very like squishy, like just comments, I guess. Yeah.
But right.
Squishy.
Regardless, we want to make sure that our local bands and DJs will still have a space that people can congregate around.
Yeah.
So even whatever may happen on DP, may happen on DP separate from this event. But I think what this event and the goal is to just make sure that those spaces that people really value still exist, even if it's not on DP.
I just want to provide just a closing comment, which is just to sing your praises, Maya, for how well you did today at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I mean, I think it was a very difficult meeting for a lot of us that have been doing this work a long time to watch. I think that at certain points I lost count of how many incorrect statements there were made about our community. And your presence as just sort of that shining beacon, the Nova of the hearing to talk about what our vision was for something that was actually going to be a long-term solution was incredible. And I think that for those that weren't at the hearing, it was very clear that there was 4 votes basically out of the gate for the ordinance. There was one that was on the fence, Supervisor Lavanino, and that we had a little bit of a back and forth towards the end. But I think that the way that you, Jonathan, Sydney, everyone on our team handled this very tricky issue for us to handle is really admirable, and we ended up in a place where we know our constituents won't be completely satisfied, but hopefully we see a path forward of working together to make things better. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hate to steal your thunder. I have just a couple more questions.
You're stealing.
Sorry.
Madam President.
Okay, this was a yes or no.
Okay.
For the police, did they only give us a verbal promise of a decrease in cool?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Also, if they stay true to their word, because there's still gonna be the same number of police, if they're lighter in our zone, does that mean that they're gonna be like super intense everywhere else in like quantity?
They were light in our zone anyways.
Okay,
'Cause that's,
okay.
that's where the private parties were as much.
Okay, so
I mean, it
that's
was not light, but you know,
Yeah.
it was less than.
Okay, okay, cool. And then I assume that for security, if we're hiring them, do we kind of get to give them their instructions of like, here's what, yay?
And they'll be integrated into the, you know, walkie-talkies and radios and
good.
stuff so they can instantly contact law enforcement.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And then for medical, are we still doing the med tents that we did last year?
No, yeah.
No.
So I'll talk a little bit about like what medical side is looking like as of right now.
Okay.
The number one thing that's important to note is that we will be integrated into the larger system this year, which is something that we really advocated for last year and we're not able to do.
Okay.
And so that is something that's important to know.
Yeah.
As our draft stands right now, we have several first aid stations around the loop where all the activity is. Now, I proposed a couple different things to the EMS and fire team of what they could look like. They could look exactly like they did last year, which if that's what they want, that's what we'll do. They could also look like mini recovery centers, like maybe with like a cot and maybe more in line with like what a safety station might look like with a place to rest. If that's what they recommend, that's what we'll do. It could be a mix of both that are differently labeled so people know the difference. We also still might explore a partnership with the recovery center again. So to still have the community center activated in that way. And those are kind of what we're exploring right now.
Okay.
Is that kind of your question? Okay.
Yeah. And then outside of our footprint, will there be medical presence or is it just, we don't?
That will be, you know, that's part of the fire and EMS team. I can tell you what they typically do outside of that area. They typically do have ambulances stationed in places that are clear of driveway. And they typically have foot teams that will go in and support DP that way.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing, I anticipate it will likely be the same, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Those were actually all of my questions. Any final thoughts? Alrighty. I'll leave with one. Maya, I do think you're crazy, but that's a good thing. That's good. Because I think only a crazy person would be able to pull off something so creative and expansive in a short amount of time. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Applaud that.
I also do just want to say, as far as like, I know we've had a lot with the name today. And so I would love, and I will let the people decide the name, but I would love if maybe you guys could send me potential ideas so that we can have like inspo points, right? Because I also think like if 100 people start shouting at a name, we can do like an Instagram vote, but like a starting point is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dare I say you keep it Deltopia so people show up?
Okay, I thought about that too. The thing that I'm worried about with that is that it's not on Deltopia.
And that's
But
a
like,
negative
I
connotation for
asked
some
her if it
people.
was like, I was like, oh, like, how did the name come about? And I was
Well,
like, wait,
Flowtopia.
it's so obvious,
Yeah.
but like,
Well, Flowtopia, right? And like
Yeah.
Flowtopia was centered around the
Del
activity.
Batchtopia.
wait, make it
Yeah.
like, what is it? What's the street here?
Loop, you want Embarcadero-topia?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Tardal-topia.
Can I just like add my thoughts in hearing that is there's a thin line that we have to walk because on the one hand, we understand that in order for us to succeed at drawing people away from DP and into the commercial area, we do need a lot of people to attend. But that is, I do not think, consensus among our partners. And so there is a thin line that we walk And I think it just they're saying in public that, that, we do not have a shared definition of what success is at this time.
That's a good point.
But by putting ourselves in the driver's seat, we're gonna help drive people to success, I believe. So I'm not saying that to be critical of what you said at all. I want to acknowledge that.
Sorry, go.
Oh, I was just gonna, oh wait, sorry. I was just gonna say whatever the name should be, I think it might be a good idea to put like to preface it with IVCSDs, like possessive S, just to like, because I know we've always had issues with name recognition and like prefacing the name of the event with IVCSDs.
We did that for the Spring Festival.
Yes,
One of
we
our
did.
banners said IVCSD Spring Festival. So
I just worry with our current co-sponsorship right now with
Oh, okay.
Amber
Oh,
Awards. They're actually more of a spender in this than we are.
Fair.
So
We should bump up our spending to match that.
that was part of the plan that was
you
proposed.
control the purse.
Just saying, that's all you. But yes.
I wanted to piggyback on something that Spencer said. So I was watching the, today's board meeting on Zoom, YouTube. And, I was really, really struck by how many times, this is just a point of pride, how many times, people mentioned IVCSD.
Mhm.
And in so many cases, IVCSD in that venue has a negative connotation, right? Something we haven't done, or we're, that kind of thing. And you all of you associated with IVCSD really projected so well. And it was so clear, you might take offense to this, but that you were the grown-ups there today. And I just want you to know, you really shone for your professionalism, your attention to detail, how well you thought ahead and planned. You had answers to every question. And it was just such an amazing thing to see. I felt like IVCSD just really shone today. And I felt like, oh, you all are the grown-ups, all these kind of people around you. And so just know that you really came across splendidly.
Yeah, Supervisor Lavigno said, I wish I can just give you this problem totally to yourselves to deal with. Yeah,
I love that. That was so great.
Yeah.
Yeah, write that down.
Yeah.
Righty. Warning that yes.
I wanna, at risk of being hasty, make a motion to
Sorry.
adopt.
Sorry, before you make a motion, you need to reopen public comment. I believe we have someone on Zoom as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to make sure we open it before we do the motion.
Yes, let's take our Zoom comment and then we'll go to that.
We have Julia.
Yeah.
Julia, do you want to do your comment?
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to remind the board that under Government Code Section 61250, the IVCSD's activated powers are limited to advisory bodies, tenant mediation, planning commissions, parking, supplemental police contracting, basic infrastructure, community facilities, graffiti abatement. One of the two explicitly stated limitations on its powers is that the services of the district shall not supplant the level of services provided by the County of Santa Barbara, the Isla Vista Recreation and Parks District, UCSB, or any other service provider. Nowhere in the aforementioned LAFCO granted powers is the authority to host and fund a large-scale festival. IVCSD has controversially invoked the argument that its spring festivals over the last 4 years were a safety measure to reduce harm to the crowds that were already attending parties on Del Playa. As of the approval of the ordinance amendments by the Board of Supervisors today, this is no longer needed. If you go through with the plans to host a festival on Deltopia weekend, you will effectively be Deltopia. There is no angle within the aforementioned activated powers that permits the IVCSD to host such an event. This is IVRPD's jurisdiction, and they are not an official partner in this event. They would be merely renting out park venue and waiving the rental fee. During the meeting where the board refused to endorse the noise ordinance amendment, the IVCSD board raised doubts that we'd be able to effectively broadcast the message that the new ordinance will be in effect. If you believe that message is hard to convey, how do you anticipate conveying to the usual crowd of 25,000 that only 8,000 of them will go into a possible event in downtown IV? Wouldn't that leave hordes of disaffected partygoers looking for and creating trouble elsewhere in Isla Vista, like in 2014? One of the reasons why IVRPD is now able to host a safe Halloween event downtown for the entire community, as it has for the last handful of years, is because Halloween was first removed from the streets of Isla Vista. I cannot imagine their event would have been safe going straight from a year where dozens of thousands were expecting to party in the streets. Lastly, a reminder that IVCSD is funded by taxes levied on our utilities, which disproportionately burdens low-income individuals and families. Utilizing $140,000 of tax dollars on essential services like water and electricity, not to mention expensive full-term staff time to throw a Deltopia party is morally unsound. Deltopia is a UCSB event and it needs a solution that is both hosted and funded by UCSB. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Do we have any other public comments? Alrighty, seeing no public comments. Spencer?
I would make a motion to receive and file this update on the Deltopia alternative plan, approve the job description for event leads, adjust the existing budget for the Spring Community Festival from 140,000 to 110,000, or to 140,000 from 110,000 contingent on fundraising, and the rest of the recommendation as presented.
Do we hear a second?
I'll second that.
Alrighty, and we can bring to a vote. Let us do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Alrighty, motion passes unanimously. Alrighty, let's get on to 5.3 data ticket software.
Okay, give me one quick second.
Yeah.
Whoa. Where did that come from?
Annabelle.
Also, I'll change the
Annabelle's mom.
lead titles, just so you know, so I don't have the name in it anymore.
I like the idea.
No, I agree. I'm glad you said it first, honestly.
You're like,
Just the name. Like, I don't want to go for it. No, I'm just saying I'll take the name of that.
Yeah. Everything is like encroaching on something.
Good night, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. They're basically good for you. No, they are, yeah. So good.
Oh, yeah. They're good for you.
is that red number 5? Is that really good for your bones?
Wait, so
You taste
we're
the
in the
help?
second district, right?
Mhm.
Why aren't we?
We are.
This wrong math is so wrong.
Oh, might have been old map.
Yeah.
We used to be in 3.
We got
Like, the selection.
This is the Esri map.
Can you send it to me? real quick? For some reason it's.
Someone needs to update on
I
this.
can't stay. I'm
Mhm.
coming on 12 hours.
What? I just searched up.
Go.
Oh,
Sorry, we're just getting the stuff.
Yeah, we're just getting set up.
Wait a sec.
Is it? Wait, why?
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, I'll sleep tight.
Yes.
Whoa.
We can also do a little bit better now that we've got through this hearing.
Be on the county board tonight. County board take a minute, 'cause I emailed it.
Oh, you emailed? Okay,
Did it not.
let me try to grab it. Sorry.
Who brought forward that amendment?
Oh, while I have you guys on, one more thing.
Yeah.
Our Civic Leadership Initiative course is starting on the 22nd with a networking event that I would love for you all to come to meet our students.
22nd.
We have 17
Wow.
people signed up, 7 of which are SBCC and the rest are UCSD. So,
Awesome.
And this
really
is-
Will you
excited.
send us a little note?
Yeah, what time is it?
I will. It's gonna be at 6 p.m. It's a Thursday and it's in here.
Okay.
Okay?
The 22nd is that?
The 22nd is a networking event, and then there'll also be something on March 12th. That'll be the end of class celebration. And we will have a videographer there. So
Okay.
That's cute.
All right. Okay, we're ready. So I'll just give a quick intro and then pass it on to Jenna, but what we're doing here is approving one more step in our parking program rollout, which is our software to run the program. So I'll turn it over to Jenna to talk about why we picked Data Ticket, and then she can answer any questions on the contract.
Yeah, so essentially this software is our citation software. They'll provide us with the app that we'll use on our handheld devices to actually write the tickets. And then they have their whole back end way of processing the tickets and accepting payments and also adjudicating if somebody wants to contest their ticket. So this is absolutely essential. We need to choose a software for our program. And after a lot of research, we've chosen to go with Data Ticket. As you know, we went to a parking conference where we networked, we talked to a lot of people there. We actually had a lot of one-on-one meetings with different software companies, also had meetings with other local parking enforcement agencies, obviously to learn about how they do things, but also to ask them about what software they use and whether or not they like it. The name that came up the most was Data Ticket. And what's great is that they also serve local cities like the city of Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and Carp. So as opposed to a company that's maybe smaller, maybe less experienced, maybe more experienced on the East Coast or more experienced with college campuses, Data Ticket is experienced with California communities like ours. So we're really confident that they will be able to provide the services that we need. On those documents that are in the file, there were just a couple really small tweaks that we're negotiating, but nothing bad, just like really small things about the language, or for example, what was one of them? Asking for a price, asking for their permit module price, for example. So like in case in the future we would want to have a permit program, what do they charge for that? So really just working out tiny little details, but overall, it's looking good. We had Julie take a look at it, and as Jonathan mentioned, we are working out a limited contract with Dixon to help us through multiple things as we start this program, but that's coming for later. And the reason we're bringing this to you today is because we really need to get them going as soon as possible so that we can launch and officially start writing tickets on April 1st, because a few things will need to be worked out behind the scenes, including literally just getting the citation paper. Apparently that takes a bit of time. So that's why we're bringing it to you now. And that's the main rundown for me.
That's awesome.
Data Ticket will take care of everything. We don't have to pay them. They just take the cut from the tickets.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the percentage cut that they take per citation?
Pull that up. It's complicated, like
Mhm.
it's based on the type of tickets you can see here, like 65 cents for manuals, 55 cents for electronic. If someone needs a courtesy notice mailed, then 75 cents will be taken out. Out-of-state collections will have, different delinquent will be an additional, like if someone's delinquent and goes through the whole process of them managing, getting that ticket paid, is 25% of the ticket. But one thing, like for example, we're trying to finalize with them is making it clear, like if it's delinquent and it's paying all these extra fees, that we put that on the user who's delinquent to pay versus on the district to absorb the price. Because if someone's paying on time, they should be getting a better deal than someone not paying on time. And then if it has to go to collections, that will be another cut. So those are all very complicated and time-intensive steps in the process that very few tickets get to, right? Like we're talking about a small percentage. IVCSD shared with us, which is a similar clientele, right? Like they write tickets to a similar audience, and they said such an infinitely small number of tickets go past the first step. Most people do pay their tickets right away, and so it will be, this is just representing a small number of the tickets who will be reduced because they are delinquent or going to collections.
And will the system allow us to, in the event that a ticket is delinquent and unpaid, send that ticket to the DMV for collection upon renewal of registration fees? Yeah.
Yes, they're integrated with the DMV.
Okay, that's good to know, because that in my experience, that's the way that it gets it even maybe faster than sending it to collections. Collections sounds scary. It sounds like it's coming out of like gonna hit people's credit or something like that.
Yeah, I don't
Which I
know
know
if
that's
there's
not the
like
intent.
legality behind that, but they definitely try to reach out to the person first.
Yeah, and it doesn't go to like collections, like someone's calling you collections, it goes to like franchise tax board. So if you do your tax return, then it's garnished out of your tax return.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think I know it's the jargon in the industry, but that's helpful distinction for us.
And I seem to remember that part of the money goes to another governmental agency, and do
Yeah.
they take care of all
Data
that?
ticket takes care of that, like says 1250 that goes to the state courts, state and county courts. So they take that cut out.
So there must be like some kind of information return that has to be filed to show who gets
Yeah,
what.
they'll send us reports.
And that they do all that.
They do all that.
And how much is a parking ticket gonna cost?
That is TBD. We'll be coming back to the board with a bail schedule, which is all the different violations and what we think we could charge for each one.
And we get to set that here?
You get to set that yourselves, and I know that the board has talked about things like escalating tickets, for example, for repeat offenders. That's something you can set, so our legal counsel is working on the bill schedule, and we'll have that to you next. That's the next step, maybe not the last step in getting set up, but one of the last big steps to be ready for April 1st, so that'll be your choice.
Further questions from the board?
I'm glad that you're bringing in Julie to help with the fun details. That's so essential.
Yeah, so we'll have that contract next meeting, and we met with them today to work that out.
Perfect. All right.
Are you ready for a motion?
Yes, like if we have no further board comments.
Sorry, just a reminder, so you have to just open up each item for public comment and then close it, and then you can do your motion.
Okay, let's open up this item 5.3 for public comment.
No one on Zoom.
All righty, so seeing we have none on Zoom, none in person, I'll close public comment. And then we can entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the contract with Data Ticket.
Second.
Second? All righty, we have a first and a second. Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? All righty, motion passes unanimously. Okay. Thank you, Jenna. All right, so we have closed session and we also have reports. Would it make more sense to do reports before closed session? Okay, so.
If I might make a suggestion to you, that's been my practice as chair, and I should have suggested this while I was chair, but I think we should just move the reports to reorder session.
Yeah, support that. Yeah. All righty. First, I have a report. Putting up reports from the board. The board will consider approving director attendance at public meetings, public events, and public hearings to earn an official day of service.
Just a reminder, if anybody is attending like a future board of supervisors meeting, the board needs to vote on it now so that that person could be paid for that attendance.
Yes.
I attended the board of supervisors meeting today and spoke on our behalf. So I don't know if that counts. But
the way, since you were president and you're representing the board by default, you didn't need to be appointed in advance, but you need to report about your attendance to be able to qualify for the day of service.
Okay, I think I've talked a little bit about it, but I spoke during public comment, and really the theme of my comment was in order for the sheriff's office ordinance to work, they need to work in partnership with us on a sanctioned event. If the ordinance passes and we're not able to get a sanction to get event together, all this really will have been is an exercise in raising the expectations of folks that have concerns about Deltopia with no material changes to the status quo. We've seen that year after year in the 90s with Halloween until really UCSB stepped up with the organized programming in 2014 and 2015 to end the cycle. So this is normal in Isla Vista. We constantly find ourselves in these cycles because, there are leadership vacuums sometimes and people don't understand our community. We're odd and quirky, but it's our job to try to break that cycle. So while I understand that there will be a lot of opinions about the outcome of the hearing today, I think that in a lot of ways, our advocacy made a big difference in preserving the ability for the alternative event to take place, which I view as critical to making Deltopia safer.
Thank you. Any other reports from members of the board?
I will, yeah. I wanted to bring up something that we had discussed a while back and that we had actually voted on, and that, can I mention this?
I don't know what you're gonna mention.
Oh. You looked up.
Yeah, I was listening.
So, the IVCSD had voted in support of SB 98, which is notification on campus, CSU, UC. And at the time, I abstained from that vote because UC had not taken a position on the bill. And I wanted to let people know that yesterday, I believe that Chancellor Dennis Asanis, our new chancellor, sent a notice to the campus community outlining the processes and procedures that will happen if ICE is on campus, and that students, faculty, staff will be notified. There's a whole process in place. I'd be happy to send out, people probably have already seen it, the campus message. I'll send it to you. So there's a very comprehensive process on place for notification. We don't have any indications that ICE is planning to be on campus. Sometimes ICE is on campus for recruiting type events. We have no indications at all, but there is a process in place where people will be notified. I wanted to let people know that.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other reports from the board? All righty. Seeing none, moving to item 7.2, do we have any reports from standing and ad hoc committees? Seeing none, we have a report from district council.
Nothing from me, but congratulations to the new president and vice president.
Thank you. I appreciate your support in helping me figure out which fancy legal words I need to say when. Alrighty. Report from general manager.
I don't have a lot to report since the last board meeting. I was on a lot of time off, so that was good. So it was a good time off. But I'll say that since the last meeting, we had our annual staff holiday party.
Yeah.
That was nice. And we've done a lot of work on these two projects, the parking project and the spring festival project. Those are our main focuses right now for me, for the staff. So we put in a lot of time and effort into those, and I think we're seeing results, but that has been the focus. I don't have a lot else to report on at this point, since we saw a lot of the results today at the board meeting.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty, this brings us to the end of our reporting session. So we can go into closed session.
Okay. I kind of remember how we do the
Read us in, I think.
Oh, yes.
Someone
we
has
have to read.
I
I have to read.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just the reason we're going to close session.
Yeah, so for closed session, we will be doing a general manager evaluation authorized under California Government Code 54957B1.
I'll cut the YouTube stream in a second.
Thank you so much for coming by.
I'm watching the live stream right now.
Yeah,
That is
virtually pulls out crowds up to that like narrow,
Ridiculous.
like
I'm
mountain
so
road.
There was like
Like,
400 people there.
Okay,